For more than 50 years, Robert G. Riley Jr. has been a force in the agriculture industry, leading with vision, integrity, and an unshakable commitment to the greater good.
He's really hard to talk about in sound bites because his contributions are so immense. They're across the state, they're across industries, they're across the landscape.
Bob is unconventional. He's a perfect entrepreneur because he thinks differently and he sees things differently than a lot of people. I like to think Bob doesn't just think outside the box, he's about 2 or 3 boxes ahead of everybody.
When Bob acquired Feed Energy in 1986, he brought with him not just business savvy, but a belief in the power of science.
When Bob bought it, it was somewhat of a mundane business. It wasn't really particularly exciting, but it was a really good business. And Bob, over the years, took it and expanded it tremendously. He expanded the geographical area, the sales area, and the science involved in the technology of animal feed and nutrition. Over that time, it just grew from a fairly small byproduct manufacturing business to a fairly significant feed ingredient business.
By applying research and innovation to animal nutrition, he helped unleash the full genetic potential of over 80 million animals each year. But the numbers only tell part of the story.
Bob's knowledge and focus of the business were incredible. He's a very curious fellow. He's always looking for answers and new ways to do things. His ability to really identify and to work in an area that a lot of people were not familiar with. He was just very good at that kind of thing.
Starting with just 11 employees and a modest weekly output, Bob grew the business through steady, organic growth, adding new products, expanding services, and building a company that has expanded to 125 employees and operations moving over £1 billion annually. But for Bob, working has never been the main thing. Work, in his view, is a tool, a platform to do good work in the world.
Bob is all about ecosystems and how everything, again, is interconnected. And so, yes, obviously he's been very successful in building his company over the years, but he has so many interests. And I think that's something I'm really envious about with Bob. You know, I sometimes wonder what I'm going to actually do in retirement. And Bob has all of these initiatives that he's engaged in. So when you think about it as ecosystem building, again, one thing builds upon another for him.
He'll tell you that his goal was to make money to feed his nonprofit habit. And there's truth in the sentiment. Across decades, Bob has lent his voice, time, and leadership to organizations ranging from the Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines, the Iowa Department of Economic Development, and the North Central Poultry Association, to the Nature Conservancy, Simpson College, the Iowa Environmental Council, and many more. He's a man of many dimensions: businessman, conservationist, thinker, mentor, philanthropist. And at the center of it all, Bob holds fast to a set of values instilled in him by family: a grandfather who served as a progressive federal judge, and a father who believed deeply in justice and pro bono work. Those early influences guided Bob toward a lifelong pursuit of meaning. He studied philosophy at Monmouth College, where he began to shape the mindset that would define his career, not just asking what he could do in the world, but why.
He always brings these different things together. He was a philosophy major, right? This incredible business head and a commitment to science. So when you put all that together, I don't think there's anything he touches that doesn't accomplish some of those goals. Now, he'd probably tell you he hasn't done anywhere near as much as he wants, because he wants water to be clean and he wants our agricultural systems to stand the test of time, and he keeps working on those things. But I look at project after project where he's brought his passion to it. That includes Iowa Parks Foundation. We have parks that have been revitalized in places around the state because of Bob. White Rock Conservancy, a founding member. The Des Moines Water Works, looking at regionalization. A lot of that was sparked by Bob. I could go on.
One of the defining aspects of Bob's philosophy is his commitment to the 7 capitals: natural, cultural, human, social, political, financial, and built. These are the building blocks of strong, sustainable communities. And for Bob, natural capital, our land, water, air, and ecosystems, is foundational. He's always stood for the voiceless, for those without access or representation, whether it's the environment, underserved communities, or rural regions facing decline. Bob has worked tirelessly to promote balance, equity, and long-term vision.
He is a deep thinker, right? And Bob has this uncanny ability to be able to see a path when there really is no path. And I think it's just the way his mind works. He's very system oriented, and so how things are interconnected.
He's also a champion for the future of Iowa, fighting to reverse the brain drain by building a state that is cleaner, healthier, and more caring, so that the next generation has every reason to stay and thrive.
He's an Iowan through and through. He's got interests in animal nutrition and water quality and soil. He's really interested in all the things that really matter to a great extent in Iowa in terms of the agricultural area.
Behind all his work is a deep foundation of family. Bob and his wife have been married for 50 years and raised 2 children, Catherine and Joe, who carry on the values of curiosity, service, and heart. Tonight, as Bob Riley joins the Iowa Business Hall of Fame, he's confident that the work and the legacy he's built are in competent hands, passing the torch as well as the values onto his son and son-in-law to steer the future course. A course that reminds us that business can be a vehicle for something greater, for growth, for generosity, and for the kind of impact that echoes far beyond the bottom line.
I think Bob touches all the bases. He has community involvement. He has built a significant business. He's extremely interested in the state of Iowa and the agricultural issues in the state of Iowa. And he's just done a tremendous job in terms of educating himself and becoming a force for information and strategy in the state of Iowa on agriculture.
The wonderful thing about Bob is he's so multidimensional, right? And he's always the one that's in the room that says, we need to look at something differently.
I do think one of the things we have to mention is his ideas of caring for people less fortunate, of looking at this as a both-and world, of recognizing what's in our soil, what's in our water, and its vitality, and that nature is not something that you can overdraw your account. You have to keep everything in balance. And so the beekeeper in him, the philosopher in him, the business person in him, the science person in him, he rolls all that together in his giving and ultimately in his legacy.
Congratulations, Bob Riley, 2024 inductee into the Iowa Business Hall of Fame.